I grew up in a town called Rocky River, Ohio. It's just a suburb of Cleveland. Well, it's interesting because that was my dad, but I went to Colorado State and I had, the major was forestry. And then I realized that everybody that went out there was a forestry major, so I switched to biology, zoology, and did a minor in parasitology. But I thought I'd teach. I figured I'd teach biology or science at the high school or college level or something like that. And my junior year, my dad said, well, why don't you apply to dental school? And I said, well, I never really thought never thought about dentistry. He goes, you probably enjoy that. He says, you like doing stuff with your hands. And so I did, and then I got accepted. Graduated from Ohio State in 1979. And back then it was a 3-year program, so we went from 76 to 79. But I never taught, no, never have. Thought I would like it, but just never have. Oh, that's interesting. So here in Westerville, and the interesting thing about that was my wife worked at a company called Pitney Bowes, and one of her co-workers had a dad who was a doctor. That doctor and Dr. Tom Pringle, a dentist, had a building together. And Murph's co-worker, my wife Murph, her co-worker said, hey, Dr. Pringle's looking for somebody to buy into his practice. He said, why don't you have your husband Brad go meet him? So I went and met him, and we probably talked for about maybe 45 minutes. We had a second meeting, and with a handshake, I bought his practice that day. And then my dad drew up the contract, and it was 2 pages long. Just really come in the office and have fun. If you don't laugh and you don't enjoy having fun with your patients along with your staff, I love it when I'm working and all of a sudden I hear somebody just belt out laughing, and then all the other girls start laughing and they told some story. So you can hear it go through the office, and the patients love that. So I think laughing and enjoying what you do. I'll tell you though, the other thing that I think is important for a young dentist is that you need to keep your body in shape, because I think it's so hard on your neck, your back, your shoulders, your wrists. And when you're young, you don't notice those things, but when you start getting into your 50s and your 60s and you're still practicing, you're gonna really see that that's hard on your body. So I think exercising is important. I'd say maybe the third one would be just what this group does. I think learning new techniques or learning how you can do something better than what you already do just from being with all these other guys in this group. So probably those 3 things. My goal probably is to be retired. So in retirement, well, one thing I'm learning how to do, and I'm not very good at, is I'm trying to learn how to surf. So, so my son-in-law lives in San Diego, so you know, he gets me on a board, and I act like I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's still fun to be out there. But then golf, I enjoy that. But really, we have 8 grandkids, so I'll be doing a lot of things with grandkids, kids and grandkids. I'd say it's just that I really, really enjoy getting to know each patient like a friend or like a family member. So I always told the girls in the office, the main thing you can do is remember that there's a person behind those teeth. Don't just look at the teeth. Don't just look at what's needed and all that, but just get to know the person behind the teeth. So I think other guys do this. This isn't just me, but I mean, I really enjoy knowing where so the first questions I have when they come in the office, where are you from? Are you married? Do you have any kids? How'd you find our office? And just getting to know them. I don't even ask them if they have a toothache. They'll tell me eventually, but so I think that's important. That one's kind of a no-brainer. I started doing a missions trip to the Dominican Republic. It was so rewarding. It was scary, but it was rewarding because I was the only dentist going. But since I've probably gone 5 or 6 years. It's in the middle of the island at the Dominican, so it's not like a tourist area. It's actually very, very poor. And we work on kids, some are orphans, from the age of 3 to about 16. And the dental needs are just amazing. I mean, a lot of extractions and whatnot, but the rewarding is just them coming up to you at the end of the day and giving you a hug because they don't have a toothache or they just were happy to get something done. So I'd say that's it. I've been in it pretty long, so I don't really know what that year was. So, but it's an obvious thing. Before I joined, I used to do CEs with just going to a class. And it was just boring as all get out because you just sat there and just listened to the lecture. This is amazing because a speaker comes and then we get to stop him in the middle of his talk and say, hey, wait a minute, what would happen if you did this way? Or is there another way you could have done this? Or what about the material? And they're so good at answering that question. And then the other thing I think I like about the group is that somebody asks a question that you never even thought about, so then all of a sudden you learn from that. So that's that, you know, and then the camaraderie, just the fellowship of the guys and the girls. So I really feel it's the debt that the kids come out of dental school with right now. We were so fortunate back in the late 70s, mid to late 70s, tuition was just really inexpensive. But nowadays, they're coming out with huge debt, well over $200,000, could go up to $3 million, and then turn around and not be able to buy a dental practice. They end up being associates. I think that aspect and the fact that practices now that are starting to sell from the baby boomer generation like me are finding that maybe there isn't quite the pool of people because of that aspect, and now you're seeing a lot of corporate dentistry buy up dental practices. I'm married to a girl named Murph. She's a beautiful girl. She and I have been married 40 years. That was last year in May. And we only had 2 daughters, but out of those 2 daughters we have 8 grandkids. One girl has 5 and one girl has 3. The one girl that has 5 lives out in San Diego, and that's where I'm learning how to surf to go out there. And then the one daughter lives in Old Worthington. She used to be my dental assistant until she had her 3rd child, and then she retired. So at the age of 35. So when I go out and about in town and I see a patient that I've had for 25, 30 years, 35 years, whatever, it's so much fun because I've known them all my life. What sound do I like? The ocean. Snoring. I don't like heights, but I love to go skiing, so I don't like heights. Español un poquito. That's a no-brainer. Colorado skiing. Anywhere in Colorado, going skiing. I'd probably say right now in the presence, just right now, because the things are just enjoyable as it is. Golden Retriever. I would love to see Mount Everest. Jimmy Brown. Yeah, I really like the movie The Natural. And people may not know much about that, but Robert Redford was in it, so it's one of my favorites. Probably Blue Sky, Allman Brothers Band, Eat a Peach album. The Bible. Ronald Reagan. Whatever this color is, that's my color. I just finished it, and it's younger next year. Medium rare. Lower right. Upper left. Never. I don't have to. I've got a bottle opener on the bottom of my sandals.